Would you consider yourself a good person? Think back on all the choices you made which shaped the person you are today. Every choice matters since when we add them all up, they dictate how our morals evolve. Both Jimmy McGill or Saul Goodman from the Breaking Bad universe and Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2 face choices like these constantly. One declines morally and the other grows morally. Both characters show us that the decisions you make define what kind of person you are.
Both of us have binged the entire Breaking Bad universe and played through Red Dead Redemption 2 multiple times. It's safe to say we know both these characters like the back of our hand. We also both went as Red Dead Redemption characters for Halloween. Near the beginning of Better Call Saul, Jimmy McGill is willing to do whatever it takes to become a successful lawyer. This includes many unethical methods, such as shooting shady business commercials where he pretends to save a man from falling off a billboard, or posing with a fake veteran to seem patriotic. At this point, he is aware that his ways are somewhat unethical, but he views them as clever rather than harmful. Over time, his behavior escalates and begins to harm those around him. He actively sabotages his brother Chuck's career after realizing he secretly hated him. He continuously pranks his former boss Howard for no reason other than ruining his life. He continuously works with Mike Ermintrow and the cartel, putting himself and his girlfriend Kim Wexler in danger. Again, he fails to see the dire consequences of his actions. By the end of the show, he fully adopts his evil Saul Goodman persona and fully convinces himself that his immoral actions were fully justified.
At the start of the game, Arthur Morgan understands that he's a bad man, but he does not actually take responsibility for his actions. Though he understands his way of life is immoral, he still justifies it as doing what the gang needs to do to survive, but that is just the type of man he always will be. However, as their leader Dutch becomes increasingly unhinged, he questions whether the gang's unethical way of life is worth all the bloodshed. After being diagnosed with terminal tuberculosis, Arthur reflects heavily on his life and he dedicates his final moments to right the wrongs of his past. He actively confronts Dutch about his recent immoral decisions, and upon realizing that Dutch's behavior will only cause more death and destruction to innocent people, he sacrifices himself to save John Marston and his family.
Early on, Jimmy McGill was incentivized by his will to become a real lawyer and prove he's not a con artist like in his Slip and Jimmy past. He also wanted to win over his brother's love by taking care of him while he was suffering from mental illness by bringing him food and news. Jimmy would put his full effort and care into his early clients that most lawyers would not even care about. Jimmy wanted to prove to HHM, which is his brother's law firm which refused to hire him, and his brother that he could be a legit lawyer. However, after hearing Chuck was not the good brother he once believed he was, Jimmy's incentives shifted towards making a lot more money. Jimmy McGill fully adopts his sinister persona Saul Goodman, giving up on being a legit lawyer and becoming a criminal lawyer, caring only about money rather than his passion for the law.
In the early days, Arthur's main incentives were all about being loyal to the gang and living a life of freedom away from civilization. Dutch, the leader of the gang, is the closest thing Arthur ever had to a father. Because of this, Arthur believed in Dutch's plan to escape the law. Arthur fought alongside Dutch in the gang through thick and thin, proving that he is Dutch's protege. However, as time went by, Dutch's plans of escaping the law failed time and time again, making Arthur begin to doubt Dutch. Dutch's plan of escaping to Tahiti seemed more and more delusional every day and was costing the lives of fellow gang members. Once Arthur accepts the fact that the time of outlaws is over, his incentives shift from being loyal to Dutch to helping John Marston and his family escape the gang life. In Arthur's final moments, he gave his money and his belongings to John and his wife and told John to go to your family, get the hell out of here and be a goddamn man, explaining that it would mean a lot to him if he were to escape his past of being an outlaw and look after his family.
In conclusion, both Arthur and Saul underwent extensive character development throughout their lives. Jimmy McGill's descent into his evil persona Saul Goodman was a result of his unwavering determination to make money and prove to his brother that he is indeed a good lawyer. His pursuit came at a cost, however, gravely affecting the lives of Chuck, Howard, Kim, and many others Jimmy pretended not to notice. While Arthur began the game as a blind follower and believer in Dutch, he finally started to question his motives and attempted to redeem himself as a good person, taking accountability for all of his past wrongdoings. He helped John and his family escape the gang and attempted to reconcile as much as he could before he passed away.
Now the ball's in your court. You can decide to seek redemption, forgiveness, and come to the light like Arthur, or you can turn a blind eye to all your wrongdoings and pretend you're in the right like Saul. It's completely up to you to be a good person. Now, what's it going to be?